All right, folks, we got some good news. We're going to get this clarified today. We're going to talk about the rapture of the church, and we're going to talk about the day of the Lord. Let's discuss. All right, so let's start out with the day of the Lord. What is it? Well, the day of the Lord is a very unpleasant day. And it's not just one day, it's actually a period of 7 years. It's that time where God is pouring out his wrath on an unbelieving world and on the Jewish people who have rejected their Messiah. This is what is considered the day of the Lord. As we are showed in Isaiah 13:9, it says, "Behold, the day of the Lord comes, cruel, with wrath and fierce anger, to make the land a desolation and to destroy its sinners from it." So the day of the Lord is not the day that us believers are caught up and given our new glorified bodies. It's not the day that we're told to comfort each other with, and it's not the moment that we meet Christ in the air and we're forever with. Which we also see here in Revelation chapter 6, verse 16 and 17. It says, "Calling to the mountains and rocks, they call out, 'Fall on us and hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can stand?'" So from the very moment of Revelation 6:1, where the Lamb, Jesus Christ, starts to open the seals, this whole period of time from that moment all the way to the end is considered the day of the Lord, and it's a day of wrath and judgment. It's not a good time. So the next thing that we're going to cover is who is actually resurrected at the end of the Great Tribulation. We know that it's not those that were saved and raptured prior to the Great Tribulation. So who is it? Well, I'll tell you. It is the tribulation saints. It's those who, during that period of time, had come to accept the grace of God through faith, and they ended up dying for their faith. They had missed the boat, they missed the rapture, they missed the rescue mission of Jesus Christ, and they, during this period of time, they came to faith, and they accepted His grace, and then they died for their faith. And then at the end of the Great Tribulation, at the end of that 7 years, they will be resurrected to glory. So then you might be asking yourself, well, when does everybody else get judged? When does that happen? Well, I can tell you, it happens at the end of the millennial reign. So those that have rejected God outright, those that never placed their faith in Jesus Christ, those that never accepted His free gift of grace and instead placed their faith elsewhere, when they die, they will be resurrected at the end of the millennial reign of Christ, and they will stand before the great white throne of judgment. And it's not a reward ceremony. There's no other opportunity to receive salvation. It is for punishment, and that's when that occurs. As opposed to the Bema seat of Christ, where believers, after the rapture and prior to His second coming, when we're at the wedding feast of the Lamb, that we will stand judgment at the reward ceremony, and we will be rewarded for the things that we do. And for the things that we're not rewarded for, it says we'll suffer loss, but that just means that we won't be rewarded for those things. There are things that we will be rewarded for, and it'll be a glorious day of celebration, not judgment. See, Jesus is going to be on a rescue mission. He says right here, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, that where I am, you may be also." Hallelujah. See, we're told in Luke 21:36 to pray always that we're counted worthy to escape all these things that are coming to the earth. What is it talking about? Is it talking about that we can escape man's persecution, or that we can escape the hate of the world? Of course not. We're supposed to be praying that we're worthy to escape God's wrath. What makes us worthy? Our God's grace and our faith in Jesus Christ, and not of ourselves. So a lot of people will use Paul's words when he was talking to the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52, where he says right here, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound and the dead will be raised imperishable, and we shall be changed. A lot of people say, oh, look right there, it's talking about the last trumpet. Well, when does the last trumpet occur? They say, well, it occurs at the last trumpet of Revelation. But that's not true. Why is it not true? Because the trumpets in the book of Revelation are all judgments being poured out. They're all being poured out. None of the judgments, none of the trumpets in the book of Revelation are a sound to believers to be caught up to glory to receive their new glorified body. Every trumpet is a punishment, God's wrath being poured out. There in that verse, Paul is talking about the transformation of believers, the hope that we have. He's talking about the rapture of the church that will occur prior to God's wrath. And we know that God's wrath is poured out right from the very get of the Great Tribulation, that 7-year process from the moment the first seal is broken all the way to the end. So I hope that this explanation has helped. I understand a lot of people misunderstand these things. I hope that this explanation in this video has helped put those things in perspective, the pre-tribulation rapture, the truth of it, the day of the Lord, and what it is and what it isn't. Who's actually raised up at the end of the Great Tribulation, at the second coming of Christ, and then who is raised up at the end of his millennial reign and what that's for. So I pray that you've listened to this video and that it helps you. Please like, share, comment, follow. Let's try to get the truth out there, because so many people just are so lost in misunderstanding, bad teachings, whatnot. So thank you for listening. If you're still here, God bless you. May God keep you.